Is it recording? Yeah, okay, it's recording now.
Lovely.
Oh yeah. Should I say hi again?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome back to episode 3. Today, in this episode, we will talk about cursed areas and haunted houses. This is going to be an excited one because there's a couple of places where I've never even heard about, like the whole Blackpool thing. So I'm pretty
Yes.
excited. Yeah.
And places where I've actually been.
Yes. Yes, same. Yes. Okay. How do I know if my house is haunted? If the history of a house is suspicious, the land your house was built on has a troubling past, the energy of the house either feels very heavy or very dark, something in the house makes you feel uncomfortable, disturbances at night, including sounds, maybe touch, even smells, like random smells appearing, pets not agreeing with entering certain rooms in the house, you feel afraid without any actual fear, feeling a presence like you are being watched, and temperature changes and strange smells. Have you experienced any of them?
I actually, yeah, all of them.
Oh my god.
I actually have.
Yeah.
Definitely in my house.
Oh my
I've
god.
experienced everything on the list.
What's the suspicious history?
It's built where an old hospital used to be.
Oh my
Although
god.
I can't find anything on the
Yeah.
internet
Yeah.
about it,
Mm.
but I've heard it a lot of times, and I think that must be the suspicious history.
Oh god, that's creepy. Thank God I haven't experienced anything in this house like that. Yeah.
Jealous. Wish I not.
Yeah.
Not just here though as well. Like I used to feel like it at my flat in my first year of uni as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's been quite a few places.
Mm. You just reminded me of so I used to go to a convent
Mm,
and they had like all the churches and like the hallways were always so cold, and I don't know
mm,
if this was like my childish imagination, but I used to like run from lesson to lesson. Like if I was going to go to the toilet, I would just run back. I don't know,
yeah,
is it because, as I said, is it my imagination, or is it because, children, they can sense things, so maybe was I sensitive at that age?
I think so.
So yeah. You
I think it could have been.
Yeah.
So, my first place that I'm going to talk about is the Stocksbridge Bypass.
So
Uh,
excited. So
I'm glad,
excited.
I'm glad you're excited for
Yeah.
this. So, the Stocksbridge Bypass is a haunted highway in England. It's part of the A616, which connects Manchester to the M1 motorway. The section north of Sheffield is known as Stocksbridge Bypass. During its construction, staff reported sightings of the ghosts of children dancing around an electricity pylon in the area, which was actually closed off to the public due to construction. And they also saw a ghostly monk standing on Peroid Bridge, which I believe is the bridge that crosses over the bypass.
Yeah.
It's said that these children were seen singing Ring a Ring a Roses as they danced around the electricity pylon before disappearing completely and leaving no evidence of footprints. And after searching for the children and being unable to find them, construction workers no longer wanted to spend time alone while working on the road. The police were informed and sent on night patrol, and they became concerned after feeling as if their car was being attacked from the outside. On further investigation, there was no visible damage to the outside of their car and no one around who could have caused the disturbance. More than 25 people have been killed while driving on this road due to poor driving, speeding, or the design of the road. However, there have been many ghost sightings reported, which includes dancing children and the monk. Some drivers have even reported feeling as if there were other occupants in their vehicles, and some have said that they even saw ghostly apparitions appear beside them while driving.
It's
And
funny because yeah, what are you gonna say?
the thing about this road is
Yeah.
that things still happen on it even to this day.
Wow. Isn't Ring a Ring of Roses, isn't that supposed to be about the Black Plague?
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe it's from that time era. Oh
Yeah,
no.
like, the kids might be from that era, yeah. I
Yes.
always find this really creepy, and I've researched it a lot in the past as well because when I've been going to gigs in Manchester,
Mm.
we often drive on Stocksbridge Bypass, and it is a spooky road. Like it's like you said, like that heavy haunted feeling.
Yeah.
You do get it, and like I'm sure I couldn't find any evidence of this online, but I had read quite a few times before that it's things like this are more likely to happen on like a foggy evening
Mm.
when the visibility is poor for the drivers and stuff. And I remember once driving back from a gig in Manchester, and it were really foggy, and I were getting really like on edge about it because I was like, I really don't want to see any of these things. I
Well,
think like what
yeah.
you said there, the road must have been built on an area that had a history of something that caused this to happen.
Well, yeah, because England is supposed to be like the most haunted country in the world. Um, I was just gonna say because me and my mum, we've sort of had this experience. um, I've posted it on Reddit. I don't know. I might link it in the description. But so it was basically we were driving on a road like this. I think I've told you this before, but it was just like a calm sort of drive, and then my mum sort of she said that she felt like something was controlling the wheels of the car, of like the steering wheel.
Yeah,
And then there was like a black Jeep behind us, and it never came, and it's so creepy. I think that has to be like my top paranormal experience, but I'll link it down below. But yeah, I definitely
yeah.
believe in like haunted roads and like ghosts sort of controlling the
Oh
car and
yeah,
making them
definitely.
crash. Yeah.
I agree. I think this is especially spooky. Just
Mm.
like imagining the fact that this actually has happened. It's crazy.
Yeah. And
And
it's scary that you can go there today as well.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's all you can always drive on it.
Oh. Yeah.
So my second one is Alton Towers. Um, so Alton Towers is a theme park in Staffordshire, England, and before becoming a theme park, Alton Towers was originally a private estate belonging to the Earl of Shrewsbury. The ride Hex, which is part of the Towers, tells the story of the Earl of Shrewsbury as the ride's backstory. It begins with the Earl travelling back to the Towers, which is around the 18th century, I think, and meeting an old beggar woman in the woods. The Earl refused to help her, which led to her putting a curse on the Earl, in which every time a branch fell from the oak tree, a member of the Earl's family would die. When a storm caused the first branch to fall, the curse proved to be true, so the Earl took the branch to experiment on it and locked it in a vault concealed within the Towers. Despite being a backstory for the ride, the legend of this curse is actually real. The Earl's son and daughter both died, as did three of his grandchildren, though these deaths were not at the exact time of the branch falling. It's said that after the branch fell, the Earl sent his staff to chain up the remaining branches of the oak tree to prevent them from falling, and the branches of the tree are still chained to this day and can be found on a public footpath to the left of the chained oak B&B.
Wow.
I was so shocked to find out that this was real.
Yeah, me too.
I've been to Alton Towers so many times. I've been on this ride so many times.
Oh.
And every time you go on the ride, you have to watch the video of the backstory, and it's like showing a film about the Earl and the curse and everything.
Yeah.
And then one day I just thought, I wonder if that's actually got any truth to it. And so I researched it, and it is true. And I was really shocked.
Wow. I think The old woman, because he refused to help her. Um, my mum, she also has a story of that from my childhood. But apparently, at night, a man, like a really tall man, wearing all white, would knock on doors to ask for water, just like a
Yeah.
glass of water.
Mm.
And then people were saying he's like a spirit trying to see who would help him. Yeah. So I think that reminds me of what was it called? Drag Me to Hell. It's like a really cool horror film, and it's like that as well. So it kind of reminded me of that. But yeah,
Yeah.
that it's a bit like the Busby chair. They had to like attach the chair to the ceiling so no one would sit on it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like that. But wow, I
Mm.
didn't know about that.
No,
It's
I was shocked
crazy.
when I found that out. And as well, there's been a lot of different things about Alton Towers being haunted.
Mm.
And there's been, if you Google it, there's in the towers, which you can see in the picture, and then Hex is obviously a part of the towers.
Yeah.
People have taken photos of the towers, and then when they've looked at them after, they can see like ghosts in the windows and stuff, like in areas that are restricted to the public.
Oh wow.
And that reminded me actually when you gave the list at the beginning
Mm.
about the change in temperature.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that I ever went on Hex must have probably been like 10 years ago, easily.
Mm.
And I remember going through those big doors and I felt absolutely freezing. Like it was a hot day outside. And I remember going in and I was just absolutely freezing cold.
Wow.
And there's like this really long like hallway up
Mm.
to like where you watch the video and stuff. And I remember feeling like that really heavy, weird feeling and like that uncomfortableness. And I didn't go on it and I left. I just decided I weren't going to bother. Um, but since like I didn't go on it then ever, like for years. And then a few years ago when we went, we were like, oh, shall we actually just go on it because it might be good? And I didn't feel as spooky that time. And I think maybe it was because I wasn't like a kid anymore.
Mm.
Like you said about having the sort of sense as a child that it might feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think that could be why. And I think I've not felt that since. It's still spooky inside, but it wasn't like I felt the first time. But honestly, the ride's very, very good, I would say. And I feel disappointed in myself that I'd left it this long to actually go on it because it's really cool.
Oh, I haven't been in a ride for ages.
It's so good. It's like a mystery in itself, the actual ride, because it's sort of like you sit in these seats and the seats move, but the room spins and it makes you feel like
Oh,
you're going upside down,
yeah, I
but
know
you're
what you
not.
mean.
It's
Yeah.
so cool. I've spent ages trying to work out how it works and I can't work it out.
Yeah. Do you remember? Have you ever been to? Was it Twin Lakes in Conkers?
I might have, yeah.
Oh, Twin Lakes. I remember. Good memories.
I feel like I've been. It would have been a long time ago. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I used to love Twin Lakes. Yeah.
My next one, I think you're going to like this one. This is
Oh.
definitely the spookiest, I think. So, this is another theme park, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, which is in Blackpool, which is a seaside in England. It was founded in 1896, and there have been a number of ghostly sightings, the most famous of which being on the Ghost Train. The Ghost Train opened in 1930 and was the first ride of its kind to open in the UK. It's said to be haunted by the ghost of an old ride operator nicknamed Cloggy due to the fact that he often wore clogs. It's said that Cloggy was a committed member of staff whose aim was to ensure good customer service and make sure that guests left the ghost train feeling scared. After Cloggy passed away, customers said that they were touched or grabbed by someone while dismounting the ride and they couldn't see the person but they could hear them. Throughout the years, more and more claims have been made, with many people saying that the extra sensations of the ride were not from the ride at all, but thought to have been created by Cloggy. Maintenance staff working on the ghost train claimed to have heard tapping, footsteps, and groaning coming from the walls, and when they turned off the ride's power and electric, the light in the skull on the outside of the ride often stayed lit up, with the staff unable to turn it off.
Oh. Yeah.
This is spooky, I think. I've been to Blackpool Pleasure Beach many times, and I've only ever been on the ghost train once.
Yeah.
And when I went on it, I didn't know that it was actually haunted, but something did feel off about it, and that's what made me Google whether it was haunted when I got home and found out that it was. And I don't know whether I'd gone it again now.
I've never been, but I think it's because, like, it's Cloggy's personality. It's like that sort of joking energy is left behind, like his life's work has sort of been, it's stuck there.
I don't think he's like a bad spirit. I think he's like a good spirit that wants to continue to do what he did in his life and probably like play tricks on people and stuff.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But I'm definitely creeped out by the fact that they couldn't turn the skull lights off.
Oh, it's almost like I'm still here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
exactly.
Weird.
So, as well as this, the ghost train is not the only haunted area of Blackpool Pleasure Beach. The Star pub, which has now been replaced by the Boulevard Hotel, was also said to be haunted. Sightings of a male figure have been reported in the cellar and walking through the bar before disappearing. There have also been reports of pictures moving on the first floor of the building, as well as the sound of a woman singing, glasses being moved, and lights being turned on and off. The gift shop beneath Sir Hiram Maxim's flying machines, the oldest ride in the theme park, which was opened in 1904, is also said to be haunted by the ghost of a 9-year-old girl. She has reportedly been seen, and there's been evidence of items in the shop being moved during the night. There are also many claims of the ice rink arena being haunted. Ghosts of old skaters are said to have been seen in the backstage dressing rooms. Lights and other equipment appear to have been moved by themselves, and doors that have been padlocked by staff at closing time have been found wide open the next day. Staff also claim that when working late at night they felt an awful presence, as well as being extremely cold.
Again, it's the cold temperature thing.
Yeah. And I think as well, like the people that talked about Cloggy on the ghost train, as far as I have seen, no one's ever really said anything about them feeling a bad presence. Not like this one in the ice skating rink.
Yeah, I think Cloggy kind of feels like a bit of a prankster
instead
of a more menacing one. But it's crazy that there's a lot of activity. Like there's countless stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, like Blackpool Pleasure Beach is quite a small, concentrated area as well. Like Alton Towers is obviously on an old estate. It's really spread out. It's like you have to walk for quite a while to get to each area, whereas Blackpool Pleasure Beach is like all in one space, really. So I feel like you said to have that much activity in one area is quite strange.
I wonder, like, what's the history of Blackpool, like, before, like, what happened on the land?
Yeah, I'd wonder that as well.
Yeah.
From what I could see, it seemed like obviously the flying machines were built first, and then everything else happened around those, but that's already haunted. So it's kind of like probably something did happen on the area where it were built, and then it just spread more and more.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been, but now I want to go there.
It's really good. I think you'd enjoy it. But the thing is as well that I think is that the flying machines, the ghost train, and the ice skating rink are all quite close to each other.
Mm.
They're all probably within like a 2 to 3 minute walk of each other.
Yeah.
So it seems quite convenient that they're all the haunted areas.
I wonder, do they do like ghost tours at night with like the
I
whole?
think I think they do.
That'd be really interesting.
They've definitely done. What's that program? Is it called Most Haunted or something? Where they go and
Yeah.
contact ghosts. They've done that there, and
Oh.
they've done it at Alton Towers as well.
Hmm.
And on both programs, I've not watched them, but I've heard that things did happen.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
there's definitely some truth to it.
Mm.
Which leads me to my next thing, which is other incidents that have occurred at both of these places. So, as well as the cursed and haunted happenings taking place at the theme parks, they've both had a number of incidents happen as well. I picked these ones because there's more than these, but these were the most serious, I felt like. So, for Alton Towers in 2004, the Sky Ride, the cables got stuck on it and 80 people had to be rescued. They had to be abseiled down 60-metre cables. So the Sky Ride is cable cars
Yeah.
and they're above water and above the land where you can walk below. Because, like I said, the theme park's so big, they have these to move across. And honestly, when I go on this, I always get scared that it's going to stop. I'm quite claustrophobic, and I always get in and I think, please don't let this stop while I'm in. Luckily, it's never happened, but then when I was researching it, it turned out that it has happened to some people.
Yeah.
On the same ride in 2009, a fire caused by a faulty vending machine destroyed the station that they come into.
Wow.
I also found that in 2007, the runaway mine train split into two halves, leaving the back half in a tunnel and the front half unable to move forward. The two parts collided, causing 6 people to go to hospital with injuries. And probably the most publicised one there's been is in 2015, an empty test train on the Smiler collided with a full train due to being set off too close together. 4 people were taken to hospital with serious leg injuries.
Yeah, I remember that. I haven't heard about the other one, but the 2015 incident, I do remember that.
Yeah, I always remember feeling like really creeped by that one because we literally went the week before that happened and we sat on the front row of the ride, which is where obviously they were sat a week later. And it just kind of makes you think, like, you know, the timing of things. It's strange, isn't it?
Very.
It was said to be due to human error.
Yeah.
That there wasn't any sort of unexplained reason. So then as well in Blackpool, train collisions occurred on the Big One twice, Avalanche and the Big Dipper. In 2000, an 11-year-old boy panicked and unfastened his seatbelt on Space Invader 2, causing him to fall from the ride train. He was hit by another train and killed. And in 2004, the Grand National ride station was destroyed by a fire. And in 2014, a 58-year-old man broke his neck while riding the Grand National. And what I would like to ask is, do you feel like it's a coincidence that incidents like these have occurred in haunted and cursed areas?
Yeah, I don't really believe in coincidences. I mean, if there's a lot of activity in that area, I definitely think it might be. It might be something else happening. Because it's too much, to be honest. Yeah.
It's because it links as well with the Stocksbridge Bypass. Like, they've had a lot of accidents and deaths on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of time at the time, people have claimed to have seen ghosts or been, you know, had something in the car with them and stuff. And it just makes me wonder, you know, like, is this a similar thing with these incidents in places that are known to be haunted?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really think it's like a coincidence, to be honest.
No, I think as well. I mean, some things can just be put down to the fact that Blackpool Pleasure Beach, the rides are so old and they've never really been updated. So, like, whereas at Alton Towers, everything's like done on the computer and like they can see if the seats are shut right and they can see what problems are going on with the ride.
Yeah.
The majority of Blackpool's rides are all old wooden rides that you can't really control via
Yeah.
a computer, and especially the one about the man breaking his neck on the Grand National. I could believe that because, well, obviously it's true, but like the Grand National is two racing roller coasters. You know, like the Grand National horse race.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
based off of that, and the two roller coasters race each other. But it's so like it hurts. I've hurt my neck on that ride before.
Oh.
It's like every time I go on it, I'm like, oh, it's not going to be as jumpy as I remember it, and then it ends up being worse.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just got an email.
Yeah, I was just gonna say my mum, she's saying how long are you gonna do it? I think I think she's got the dinner ready, so I just said half an hour more.
Okay,
Is that okay? Yeah.
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Also, would you be able to edit that bit out where my email just came
Yeah,
through?
yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
I edit it all. Yeah, that's
Oh,
fine.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right, moving on to your next part. Oops, why is it not working? There we go.
Yeah. So the BS rating. I think I would give this all 1, not BS at all.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. There's
Especially, yeah.
there's too much coincidence for it not to be all of it to be true.
Yeah. Um, and as you said, especially when it's like somewhere where you've been, you've sort of felt the energy. And with
Yeah,
like the bypass, because I've sort of experienced something like that, then it's believable for me, to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the Baku Pasha Köşk in Baku in Turkey, in Istanbul. I have been past this house so many times, and it's terrifying. So this mysterious rundown mansion sits in Bakırköy, Istanbul, amongst the modern shops and building. This mansion is an anomaly among them. The intriguing story is that this house disappears off the face of the world for 5 seconds, then magically appears again. This event apparently happens every year. Although there isn't any strong evidence, there are several witnesses who swear of seeing it disappear. There's also been a mention that a winged creature circles the roof, then flies away into the sky. It is said that the house transports to the jinn dimension, which us humans aren't able to see as it is placed behind a veil.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
It's really weird. Like, seriously, just imagine like all these modern houses, you've got Starbucks, you've got like a shopping center, and it's a really cool place. Like, it's very hip, and there's like really cool like alternative shops that you can find there.
yeah.
And it's literally just this house in the middle of all of them.
Oh
It's
wow.
crazy. Apparently, I think my mum said that they can't knock it down because the spirits in the house doesn't allow them to knock it down. So yeah, it's quite scary.
I thought you were just going to say it was haunted. I was
No,
shocked that it disappears for 5 seconds. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
yeah,
I've never ever heard of anything like that before. That's really cool
yeah.
and very creepy.
Very creepy. Yeah. So the jinn dimension it's basically the spirits. So
Mm,
like us spirits are said to be known. We're made of soil, but like the jinn are made of fire. So it's yeah, that's the veil. So it's like an Islamic belief that there's like a veil, and
yeah,
the spirit dimension lives on that. So we can't see it, but I guess sometimes like it glitches and things happen.
yeah.
So it's really
That
creepy.
must be when it disappears
Yeah.
during the glitch.
Yeah. So this is the Winchester House. I've seen the film and I couldn't even finish it because it's awful.
Oh no.
No, no, not in like a, it was so awful because it was terrifying, because it was so boring. That's
Oh, I thought you meant it was so scary
no,
that you couldn't
no.
even finish.
No, it was really boring. Yeah. So born around 1840, Sarah Winchester grew up in a comfortable upbringing. She attended the best schools around and she married well and eventually gave birth to a daughter, Annie. However, tragedy struck in her late 20s when Annie died, following the death of her husband William more than a decade later. After William's death in 1881, Sarah inherited roughly 20 million. That's over 500 million in 2019 dollars. So, newly in possession of a massive fortune, she struggled with the loss of her husband and her daughter, so she sought the advice of a medium. She hoped perhaps to get advice from the beyond on how to spend a fortune or what to do with her life. Though the exact specifics remain between Sarah Winchester and her medium, the story goes that the medium was able to channel her dearly departed William, who advised Sarah to leave her home in New Haven, Connecticut, and head west to California. As far as what to do with her money, William answered that she too was to use her fortune to build a home for the spirits who had fallen victim to the Winchester rifles. If she didn't do that, he said that she would be haunted for the rest of her life. So Sarah Winchester purchased what would later be known as the Winchester Mystery House. So, due to the lack of plan and the presence of the architect, the house was constructed haphazardly. Rooms were added on exterior walls, resulting in windows overlooking other rooms. Multiple staircases would be added, all with different sized risers, giving each staircase a distorted look. By the turn of the century, Sarah Winchester had a ghost house, which was an oddly laid out mansion with 7 stories, 161 rooms, 47 fireplaces, 10,000 panes of glass, 2 basements, 3 elevators, and a mysterious fun house-like interior.
Wow.
Yeah, I would love to go there. They do tours. Obviously not now, but but yeah, it's really strange.
It actually looks like a nice looking house as well,
Yeah,
like from the outside.
yeah, it's really strange.
It looks really like fancy and cool.
Yeah. So in the next slide, we can see the facts. So from 1886 to 1922, construction seemingly never ceased as the original 8-room farmhouse grew into the world's most unusual and sprawling mansion, featuring 24,000 square feet, 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 160 rooms, 52 skylights, 47 stairs and fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens. It was built at the price tag of $5 million, but it's now $71 million today. But it's crazy. Like, there's stairs that just lead to a wall.
That's so weird.
It's so terrifying. And yeah, if you can see in the picture, there's like doors that just open to nowhere. But yeah, but I think maybe if she did sort of speak to spirits, maybe that's why it's so strange. Because maybe in the spirit world, everything is so distorted. Maybe.
And they wanted it making like that.
Yeah, so it's really weird. And it's also known that she was obsessed with the number 13. Yeah, it is a beautiful house. And they do like ghost tours as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely on my bucket list.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
The look of that top picture as well, like it just looks really cool. Like the architecture of it looks really good.
Yeah, it's beautiful, yeah.
I feel like it looks like something you'd see on like a film that's made up.
Exactly. Yeah, like a Tim Burton film or something, like very weird.
Yeah. I agree.
In the next slide, I also have another place what I would love to go. New Orleans. So, New Orleans is known as the most haunted city in the United States. The city is a place where the dead refuse to rest. Famous for its practitioners of the mystical arts, from voodoo queens to professed vampires and Wiccans, New Orleans set the stage for all manner of third eye explorations. It has also been the backdrop for occult-themed films and television shows, from True Blood and Interview with the Vampire to American Horror Story Coven. And Lost Souls by Poppy Z. Bride. I should have added that. But yeah, loads of amazing vampire novels set in New Orleans. So, voodoo came to New Orleans in the early 1700s through slaves brought from Africa's western slave coast. Like so many things, New Orleans, voodoo was then infused with the city's dominant religion, Catholicism. Catholicism? Is that how you say it?
I think, is it Catholicism?
Yes.
Or maybe I made that up.
That's right. Like so many things, New Orleans, voodoo was then infused with the city's dominant religion, what was it again?
Catholicism.
Catholicism. And
Yeah.
it became voodoo Catholicism. Anyway.
Sounds like, I imagine it in my head and it sounds right, and then I say it and it sounds wrong.
So yeah, it was a hybrid of that, and sometimes it's also referred to as New Orleans voodoo. So yeah. So these are the tragic events that have happened in New Orleans. The yellow fever epidemic in New Orleans from 1817 to 1905. Perhaps the most gruesome event to ever unfold in New Orleans took place during the yellow fever epidemic, which peaked in 1853 with 7,849 deaths, and eventually added up to 41,000 who would lose their lives to yellow fever in the 19th century and early 20th century. The mosquito-borne virus is a member of the something family. I can't pronounce that.
Can't help me with that one, unfortunately.
The Flaviridae family, and it ravaged the population of the immigrants new to the city. In particular, individuals became infected when bitten by the mosquito. And the mosquito carrying the virus was easy for multiple members of the household to succumb to the disease. Headaches, muscle soreness, fever, and jaundice, hence the name yellow fever. So this, the second event is the Laurie Mansion. I can't read today. I'm sorry. I can't read.
It's all right. We always have days like that where words just don't make sense anymore.
Yeah. So, the Laurie Mansion, it's still in New Orleans. It's in the French Quarter, I think. So this house is well known both within and beyond New Orleans. So Laurie, oh God. So she enslaved African American people, and she was a notoriously cruel mistress. After a 12-year-old girl fled her terror, falling from the roof and dying from the injuries, the authorities were brought in to investigate. Laurie's slaves were taken away from the house and sold at auction. Unfortunately, one of her friends bought them and gave them back to her. Whether Laurie's famous temper led her to act out in vengeance towards the slaves, or whether she was simply insane, no one knew about that, but the worst was yet to come. The visitors to the house became fewer and fewer, as rumours of her cruelty spread and damaged her reputation. In 1834, a cook intentionally set the house on fire, hoping that it would bring civic intervention, or the relief of death. Behind the locked door on the third floor, firemen discovered a scene described by the New Orleans Bee. 7 slaves, more or less horribly mutilated, were seen suspended by their neck, with their limbs apparently stretched and torn from one extremity to the other. These slaves had been confined by the women for several months in this situation from which that they had thus Oh my god. So thus they had been rescued and had been merely kept in existence to prolong their suffering.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's scary. That's no, that is scary. That one. But then I was thinking as well that epidemic one is kind of similar to what's going off now, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, just like looking at the numbers now, it's kind of
Yeah.
nothing to what we're having.
I hope it doesn't go on for that long. Just short
Oh,
of 90 years, is it? Or I'm not very good at maths, but no,
yeah.
I hope what we're experiencing doesn't last as long
I
as.
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
What if this goes on for like 10 years?
exactly.
Oh, oh my god. I didn't think about that. Because like last year we thought that 2021 was okay, that's it. The virus is gone,
Yeah,
it's going to disappear. Oh my
exactly.
god. But yeah.
I mean, I don't. I'm not an expert. But I don't think it'll go on for nearly 90 years like the New Orleans one, just because. I mean, in those times, they won't have had the medical equipment
Oh,
to have been able to try and sort it out. Not like we have now.
I that's terrible, isn't it?
Hmm.
That we are quite lucky that we have all this medical technology at this uh, you know, under our
Yeah,
hands. So I guess that's something to be grateful for.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, the mansion it's still there. I think Nicolas Cage tried to buy it or something. I like Nicolas Cage. He's quite odd. But he
That's
even
so
yeah,
strange that you'd want to buy it, though.
yeah. I think he even has like his tomb prepared at um one of the most famous graveyards
Oh, wow.
cemeteries in New Orleans. So yeah,
Wow.
very weird.
That to go there though, that must feel really haunted. Like
Oh
that,
yeah,
like linking to the Blackpool one where they were saying about the awful feelings that the staff had. That must be like that, but a million times worse to go in
definitely.
there.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I would say one, not
Yeah.
BS.
Oh, I definitely agree.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know. Even like the house that disappears for 5 seconds. I mean,
Mm.
I don't. I don't know about if it disappears. I think that's just like a nice sort of. It's a nice creepy story to believe in, but the
Yeah,
fact that they can't knock it down, and
yeah,
for like a country and like a place that's constantly trying to make more buildings, trying to make it more sort of modern. It's so
yeah.
peculiar that that building is it's just there amongst all like all these modern shops. So yeah,
Mm.
that's quite strange. But
I feel
yeah.
like I do believe that it could disappear just because of like what you said about a glitch.
Oh
I
yeah.
I believe that that happens where you do have a little bit of a glitch sometimes, or you can experience it or see it. I feel like that could be true.
Yeah. I'm surprised they I don't I wonder have they ever like filmed it, like put it under
Mm.
surveillance.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see if anyone watched it constantly and actually saw it happen.
Yeah. But what if it doesn't get caught on camera? Because like
That's
yeah.
it could just glitch the camera as well at the same time, make sure that it's not seen, and then
Yeah.
by the time the camera's back, the house is back.
Oh, like the pictures that my mum took of the graveyard,
Yeah,
and then they never
exactly.
appeared. Which is so
No,
odd. Yeah.
could be the same thing.
Mm. Any others? I think the one place that pops in mind is the London Underground is supposed to be haunted as well.
Yeah.
There's some pretty cool documentaries about them on YouTube
Mm.
where yeah, the people that work there, they say that um they see like men with like top hats and like old time suit, sort of asking about when their train is going to arrive or something, and then they just disappear. So yeah, that's quite
Oh,
interesting. If you want to creep yourself out, you can watch that on
that does,
YouTube.
that does sound very creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I have. Do you have anything?
Uh, I don't think I've got anything that comes to mind, but
Yeah.
hmm. The thing, I think I mentioned it to you the other day. I should have researched it and I forgot. Apparently, I've seen a video before about some sort of grave of a woman, and it's like near some woods or
Oh,
something.
the flowers.
Yeah, and apparently there's always flowers on it, and the flowers are always replaced in the night time, but no one ever replaces them. And I saw a video where some people went and camped out by it to watch the flowers being replaced to see who's doing it.
Yeah.
And they said that they stayed awake the whole time, and the flowers changed, but they never saw anyone do it, even though they were watching the entire time. So I feel like that could be like linking to the glitch sort of thing, where maybe it just glitched so they didn't see it,
Maybe.
even though they were watching.
Mm, it is
I'll have to
so
research that a
strange.
bit more because I can't remember the exact
Yeah,
story of that, but I'm sure
I've
it
never
was
heard about
along
that.
those lines.
Yeah, never heard about that. It's really interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I like it.
Yeah. Oh God. I once had a little a chicklet. I think that's what you're called. Um,
Oh,
but it died like in a week.
oh
Yeah,
no.
it just died and it's I had like a box for him, like a little house, but it just died. I
Oh,
don't know what happened. I think it's the same with apparently rats. They only live for like 2 years. They have like weak lungs. They
oh
get like
really?
yeah, they get like breathing problems.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean I love rats, but like I don't know what I'd do if it just died just after two
that's
years.
true actually, yeah. I
Yeah.
like rats. I always thought I'd have a pet rat, but I don't think I would now if that were the case. I'd get too attached to it and then I'd be too upset.
Yeah, and you can't buy one. Apparently, you have to get them in pairs because they're so
Yeah,
social.
like guinea pigs.
Yeah. I remember I had a friend who had a hamster, and apparently the hamster used to scream at her.
Really?
Yeah, apparently they scream.
Oh, I used to have a hamster, but I never heard him scream.
Yeah, that might not be true. I think she might have been like lying to me or something. I think she made that up. But apparently they scream.
How if that happened?
Imagine at night, you just hear it
Yeah,
screaming.
literally, that'd be so scary.
Oh my God.
So, oh, there we go.
At the end of that one.
Yes,
Was that episode 3?
yeah,
Wow. These are getting fun, aren't they? I love these.
yeah. I'm really enjoying this. It's good.
Definitely. So, thank you for watching our spooky podcast. I hope we
Yeah.
scared you. We will try to post a new podcast about everything strange, spooky, every Friday. And if you have any ideas, kindly comment down below. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. And then I think we have the references as well.
Oh yeah.
And I'll add the references down below. Loads of resources.
There was a lot on that one. I had a lot of the Blackpool ones.
Should I stop it now?